Okay, good afternoon, everybody. So let us start our class today. So at the beginning, as usual, I want to review our schedule. So you see that your exam will be on next class on Wednesday. But in case the university is closed tomorrow and Wednesday, tomorrow Tuesday and Wednesday, so then your exam will be on Friday. And in case I miss a class due to bad weather or any reason, I will record a video, lecture video, and I will post that, and please watch the video. Yes. Thank you. There is not an issue here. Okay, actually it's problem here. And okay, so in our last class we discussed object-oriented principles, and sorry, we could not finish inheritance in last class because I reviewed an important question for the exam. And in today's class we will discuss inheritance. Okay, so let's start inheritance, and today I will discuss inheritance with C#. Okay. And then I will discuss programming with C#. Okay, so and then people who are taking Java, so please, there will be a few changes. I will just give you heads up where are the changes. But if I miss something, so please make a comment just below the video or wherever or whenever is suitable for you. Okay, so anyone has idea about what is inheritance? In general, inherit means acquire property from our predecessors, right? For instance, we inherit properties from our parents, from our grandparents, and we inherit not only financial properties, we also inherit physical properties and mental motivation and some other kinds as well as. So same thing. Okay. In the inheritance is process or a concept or a process, okay, that allows us to inherit properties from one class to a new class, from an older class to or an existing class to a new class. The existing class is called the parent class or base class, and the new classes are called child class or derived class. Okay. In our real life, we inherit properties from our parents and also our relatives. Similarly, in object-oriented programming concept, we will establish a process that will allow us to inherit some existing methods or existing attributes from an existing class. Okay, so the motivation of using inheritance process that it will help us to reduce our programming code, make our program concise, so that once we have some properties already in an existing class, we don't need to redefine it. Okay, we can reuse it. So inheritance is one of the principles of object-oriented programming concept. So we will go through this. For instance, we have a class, an existing class. We usually call this a base class or parent class, and we have some base class member. Okay, and then if we want to inherit the properties or members of the base class, then we inherit the base class into our new class. Our new class is called derived class. This is in Java format. We write this way, and in C sharp it is very similar. So in C sharp, instead of typing in extends, just we give a colon, single colon. Okay, and you should keep a space between before and after the colon sign. Otherwise, it may not work. Sometimes okay. So this is in Java syntax. This is called in Java syntax, and this is in C sharp syntax. This is C sharp syntax. Okay, so the concept is not too much different, like the implementation is not too much different. Just in C sharp we will use the colon sign, and in Java we will use extends keyword. Okay, so even if I discuss in terms of Java perspective or C sharp perspective, so people who are taking C sharp lab, remember that when I say extend, this colon signs means extend. Okay, and then Java people, when I use this colon sign, then please remember that this colon sign means extends keyword. Okay, so for instance, let us see a block diagram. For instance, we have a class here. What is my class name here? Student. Okay, that's good. Okay, and it has some properties. How many properties I do have here in student class? 3. Okay, that's good. Okay, what are those? Private integer type role, protected string type name, and then public void. This is a method, set data. Okay, so instead of having like two different getter and two different setters, I have only one setter here. It's called set data. Okay, and so here I see that these are the visibility mode. Okay, it says private, public, and protected. There are 3 kinds of visibility modes. We will discuss this. We will discuss this in our maybe today's class or next class in detail. Okay, and you see that here, if I want to reuse, inheritance is mainly used for reusing. If we want to reuse the properties, some of the properties, not everything is reusable. Okay, from the student class to a new class, result, I want to give it a name as result as a new class. Then we will use the keyword extend in Java format, and C sharp format we will give just this colon sign. Okay, so then what will happen after this inheritance? So for instance, I have my old members, role and name, and set data, and I have my new fields in my result class. So actually the non-private members from the student class will be inherited, will be reusable from the result class or by any object of the result class. Okay, so what will happen after this inheritance? What will happen? So actually this is a block diagram. So this is a block diagram. So what will happen after the inheritance? So the result class will have its own properties, like the own properties are mark and set mark and display, as well as it will inherit the non-private members, that are, for instance, name and set data from the student class. So result class will virtually be flooded with some extra properties from that it will occur or achieve from the student class. So now question is that what members are inheritable? So all members are inheritable except the private members. Okay, the private members are not inheritable. For instance, if you are the only son of your parent, of your father, then you will achieve or inherit all of your father's property except not something. For instance, you will not achieve his social security number. His social security number is personal to him. Yes. No. Only inheritance is applicable only for non-private members. Okay, private members are not inheritable. So if you inherit your father's property, you can inherit everything, but you cannot inherit his social security number. Okay. Yes. Yes, getter and setter methods are usually be public. So if your method is public, then it is inheritable. And the question is that what about protected? Protected is between public and private. We will show you in a live program what is meant by protected. Protected means it based on the package level. And sometimes, for instance, sometimes it goes in some languages, protected variable is inheritable is only one level. For instance, let us think that we inherit properties from our parent and from our grandparent. Okay, so the protected properties are that. Okay, so if my grandparent has some property, then only my father can inherit that. I cannot inherit. Only one level. If my father has some protected property, then only I can inherit, not my children can. Okay, protected inheritance go only one level down. Okay, we will discuss about protected later, but protected is very few, used in very few cases. But let us consider focus on only private and public. So in your program, I ask you to use only private and public properties. Okay, you don't need to use properties for now, but when you will be an expert programmer, then you will understand what is the difference between private and protected and public. Okay, so through the inheritance, the result class will achieve non-private members from the student class. So everybody understands so far? Anyone has any question? Okay, thank you. Okay, so there are some terminology in inheritance. So one of these called is direct base class, another is called indirect base class. So we will understand direct base class and indirect base class maybe in an example here, in a slide here. For instance, let us consider that A is a grandfather. A is the grandfather, A is a grandfather, and B is a father, and sorry, this will be C here. This will be C. There is a mistake here. And this C will be a child. So this A is top level. It is called multi-level. For multi-level, it is indirect base class, and B is direct base class. For the child C, This will be C here. And for A is direct base class and B is direct child class. And with respect to A and C, A is indirect base class, but C is indirect child class. Okay, so based on the number, of base labels of base classes, inheritance are classified in several categories, like single inheritance. When you have a single class, when you have a single base and a single child, then it's called single inheritance. It's very simple, that I showed you in this block diagram. And for multi-level inheritance, so for instance, the A class is the topmost inherit class, and then B class inherits properties from A class, and then C class inherits properties from B class. So if a property is inheritable from A to B, and that will go to C as well as. Okay, and this is called hierarchical inheritance. So like for instance, if you have a single base class and if you have multiple child class, for instance, one father, multiple children, this is called hierarchical inheritance. Is mostly used hierarchical inheritance. And some other languages like C++ supports multiple inheritance, but Java does not support multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance means, in a concept, that consider that if there are two fathers for a child, okay, if there are two biological fathers of a child, okay, so far biologically it is not possible, but maybe it may be possible in future. Okay, so for some programming languages like C++, it supports multiple inheritance, having multiple parent classes, but there are some difficulties programming with multiple inheritance. So this is why Java and modern programming languages has got rid of multiple inheritance. So we will not discuss multiple inheritance. So let us go back to multi-level inheritance again. For the programming languages, for instance Java and C#, there is a great parent class that is called object class. The class object, O in uppercase. And in C# it calls O in lowercase. And in Java it is O in uppercase. Okay. And this object class is a default class in our programming language, the compiler when you install. Okay, this is the object class. It has some properties. Remember that in one of our class I showed some methods like equals, notify wall. Those methods are defined within the object class. So by default, all classes inherit properties from object class. We will show this soon. Okay. Okay, and there is actually a relationship between the parent class and child class. So we will discuss this. We will discuss this soon. Let me see how. Okay, that another thing that I mentioned that, okay, so the private members are not inheritable, but private members of a class are accessible from a derived class, a child class. How? Using through getter and setter method. For instance, if my roll number is private here, but if set data method access the roll here, and I inherit the student class, since set data is public, so my result class will be able to use roll through set data method. Go forward. Yes. Go forward. Go to the front. Yes. So we want to show this in a program, then maybe I need one more class to finish this inheritance. So for actually there is a or has a relationship between inheritance. So what is that? For instance, let us consider that this is a shape class, and there are two-dimensional shapes and there are three-dimensional shapes. Okay, so a circle is a two-dimensional shape and is a shape. Okay, and a square is a two-dimensional shape and a shape. So this is a relationship. And then has a means, so if the shape has some properties, okay, in order to be a shape, the triangle has that shape, must have that shape. So maybe I will show you this in another block diagram, another figure. But let's start a program in order to discuss inheritance. Okay, so this is my C# actually. Okay, people who are taking C# lab, I think you should know how to create a solution or a project or like workspace in C#. I'm not going through that, but I want to create. I have a existing solution here, and I have actually the entire code I will have in my GitHub account. If you want to copy it, just go to my GitHub, and then which repository is this one? Let me see. This one, CSE1322 lecture CS means C#. Okay, so who are people who are C#? You don't need to write code, just you can clone this project. Okay, I will go through. Okay, so let me just add a new project here within my solution. I will give this name as a console. I will create as a console app, and I want to explain it as inheritance explained. Okay, that's this. And remember that I will have what is my solution? Okay, I got it here, inheritance explained. So let me make it as my startup project. And when I create a new project, it has some, you know that C# people, it has some existing stuffs, and it has his main method within class, actually this main method. And in order to actually save my time, just I want to delete this. Okay, so I want to copy some codes from my existing project. You know, the last times we remember that we discussed with inheritance class. You remember that inheritance class? So let me copy that inheritance class from here. I have my inheritance class here, and inheritance main as well as a vehicle class. Sorry, vehicle class we discussed, vehicle class and vehicle main. Let me paste over here. So I have my vehicle class over here. You see the difference? We discussed this vehicle class in our last class with C with Java perspective, right? So I will discuss what are the difference between here. So the difference, everything except that instead of system.out.println that we wrote in Java, just we need to use console.writeLine in C#. And except that everything is same. Although in C# format it calls by in general getter and setter methods are called get and set method. But since these names are optional, if I put get doors is okay, no problem. Okay, and then in my inheritance main class, okay, so my inheritance main class, okay, so here, sorry, vehicle main class, I have my, okay, so in C# people know that this is called namespace. Namespace is the area. So Java like more likely as a what is called package. So since I am within the project inheritance explained, so I should make this namespace as inheritance explained. The same workspace here. Inheritance explained. Just I renamed this one because I copied from my old project, so it got this one. Okay, and then it is not getting vehicle because in my vehicle class I have different namespace, so I need to change this namespace. So once I have same namespace, that means same group. Like for instance, in your Facebook you have a group. You use sometimes private or public group, right? Or like for you like-minded people or like active same kind of activities, right? So this is why like namespace is kind of grouping. Okay. So here you see my vehicle class is same thing about just I changed just inheritance explained. But if I would create a new vehicle class, I would not have this issue. Okay. Okay. So now let us explain. So and another thing that here in a Java or in a Java project you may have multiple main method in multiple classes, but in C# project it does not allow. In C# project it says that, so if I want to run this program, okay, I need to save it. Okay. Okay, so if I want to run this program, it will not allow me. I will show them. Okay, but there are some errors in here in my vehicle method. I will fix it. Let us see what are the errors here. Okay, first of all, it says vehicle. The name vehicle does not exist in the current context. What does this mean? So the vehicle is a class name, right? So I have my vehicle over here as well as in this class. So it has class vehicle, but you say that it has a different namespace. So I need to make this namespace exactly same, or maybe I change the namespace in okay, so in this in this method inherited I did a mistake, inherited class. Okay, so although these programs are almost same, so it's confusing sometimes. Okay, so vehicle it is not finding, it is not getting in the vehicle main because I have different namespace by mistake. So in the vehicle class I need to change this namespace as same name. This is my namespace name. Now my vehicle main has had the error that is gone. Okay, now if I want to run this vehicle main, it will give me an error. The C# people, can you tell me what is the expected error? Okay, that it will show me there are multiple startup points Okay. Okay, so this I said no. It says there are multiple startup points. Actually, the problem is that there are multiple startup points. One of these is that I have in vehicle mains, I have startup points. You see that here? The program has more than one entry point defined. This is my main error. So actually, once I created a new project in C#, it by default created a main startup. So actually, I don't need this program.cs. So let me delete this one. Okay, now I should be able to run it. Okay, the same output. That's good. I discussed in Java perspective. Now let us explain inheritance. Okay. Okay. For instance, I have a vehicle here. I have a vehicle class. So as we explained that a vehicle is a vague term, right? Is a concept. Okay, but in real life there is no vehicle. Vehicle that we have some vehicle in itself, like a truck or a private car or what do you say, bus, right? Those are kind of vehicles. In general, we say all bus, truck, even train, even motorcycle, bicycle, right? All those are in general what vehicle. But in general, so what is my attendance sheet? Is going on? Is my attendance sheet going on? Who has my attendance sheet? Please pass it to next one. So yeah, please every day pass my attendance sheet to the next people. So now let us create some vehicle, some subclasses of vehicle. Like for instance, what are the subclasses of vehicle can be? A car, private car, or a truck, or a train, right? So let us start with a car. So let us create a new class here. Add item, new item. My new item will be a new class. Okay, so I want to give this class name as a car, means private car. Okay, in shortcut I give it car name. Okay, so I have my car. My car is empty. Okay, it has nothing. So, but I want to inherit some properties from my existing vehicle. So how can I do that? The colon sign is the inheritance sign, and then vehicle. You see that as soon as I started vehicle, that is it. I have two existing class, vehicle and vehicle main. Actually, I need to from vehicle. Okay, so that means good. I have done the inheritance, and in Java format, I would write in Java. I would write class car, and actually in Java, it should be public. If in the same class, then public extends vehicle. So Java people know the difference between Java and C# here on this line. In Java, we would write class car extend vehicles, and then in C# this symbol means extend. Okay, and let us make some extra properties in this car. Actually, I do have this in order to quickly, instead of typing this, let me get some properties from here. Okay, so maybe I have some properties over here. I have too many classes open, so let me close all. Okay. So my car class, so I want to copy just and paste from that here. Okay. So you see that my main method here, that my method, I added a new method in my car class as run method. Okay. And then in the run method, I just give an extra print statement, so that if I see this statement, then I will see this statement. For instance, let me make some changes. A car is mainly used privately. So if I see this method, then I will be confirmed that this method is called, right? And this is see that equals method, and that goes get a hash code and toString methods. These are by general thing that that are sometimes need to be inherited and or override. So this is why these are the stuff it comes automatically. But we don't need this. For instance, forget about this. We will discuss about this, mainly the equals method and toString method override. We will discuss in next week. But for instance here, so the class inheritance, this lines class car, okay, then extends vehicle. So then after that, after inheriting the car, the vehicle class by the car class, what will happen? So then will happen that we will be able to create vehicle object or car object. For instance, we can say car C1 equal to new car. Oh, sorry. New car. Okay, so now let us see that what properties C1 has. If I type in C1 dot, okay, then it says equals method. These are, okay, now this is time. So actually you see the equals method, it says boolean car dot equals, and within this object obj. Actually, as I mentioned, all classes by default inherit from the object class. So actually my vehicle by default it has like this, it has object. By default my vehicle class, it inherits properties from object class, but we don't need to write in for the first level, top level class. We do not write this. We don't need to write explicitly this inheritance. The top level, all classes, okay, inherit properties from object class. In C#, you can type in object O in uppercase or O in lowercase. It works for both. But for Java, no. For Java, you must write in this way. For Java, you might write in class vehicle extend object. For Java, you must type in extend and must be O in uppercase. Okay, so this is the difference between C# and Java, is that for C# you may type in O is in uppercase or O is in lowercase, but I prefer to write in O in uppercase. So object class is the great parent class. If I see that, if I hover my mouse over here, it says that class system.object. Okay, support all classes in the .NET Framework class hierarchy and provides low-level services to derived classes. What do we mean by low-level services? There are some services, actually, there are some services or methods. There are some methods that are defined within the object class. We can use those methods for free. For instance, the equal method. Okay, so the equal method is what it is defined within object class. It is used to check whether two objects are equal or same or not. It returns a Boolean value. If the two objects are same, then it returns true. If it is not, then it returns false. So what other? So the next one, you see the next one, get color. So what is this defined? You see the string, it returns a get color, it returns a string type, and it is defined in the vehicle class. It says vehicle.getColor, right? That means it is defined in the vehicle class. And what is about the getDoor? GetDoor is written an integer type, and it is defined in the vehicle class. Okay, and then setDoor. Okay, setDoor is a void. You see that? I cannot see maybe here. If you the setColor, setDoor, it says void vehicle.setDoors. It takes integer type door. We will use this method, right? Okay, and it takes integer color. How many doors? That you see that now. As soon as I give parentheses, then it's showing me void is return type void. It is defined in the vehicle class, and it takes an integer type doors. So how many doors I want to define? 4 doors, right? That's good. Oh, I'm sorry. With so this will be a semicolon, not a. Okay. So we are discussing this one, right? Okay. For instance, let us so can we create more car object? Yes, right? How can we create more car objects? Car, like C2 equal to new car. Okay, and then for instance, let us define C2 dot set door. How many doors we want to set up? Like 2 doors. Any number of door I can set up. This is an integer number. Okay, then let us set up color also. C1 dot set color. And set color methods takes and I'm sorry, I got get color. I need set color. Set color. I need to set up color red. Okay, and for C2 dot set color, I need to set up color white. Since these are string, I need to put in double quotation. Okay, now if I want to display my this one, okay, for instance, v1 dot door, instead of v1 dot door, I can say c1 dot door, and then c1 dot color, and then c2 dot door, c2 dot color. Then I have to set up here only c here, and then c here, and then c here. If I run this program, okay, that what my expected output is here. C1 dot door equal to 4, and C1 dot color equal to red, and C2 dot. Okay, that here is a normal process, but let us see what properties we have inherited from the vehicle class in our car class. Okay, then another thing that I can give an example. For instance, if my vehicle is a base class or a parent class, I can create another child class. For instance, I can create another class, that means another vehicle, that means maybe truck. For instance, truck. Okay. And then if I want my truck class will inherit properties from my base class. What is my base class? I can use car as my base class, or I can use vehicle as my base class, right? Vehicle. Okay. So let us make a method here. For instance, void public void. Okay. Let's make the another thing that we will discuss. In car class, we have a run method over here. Let's copy this run method and just put it here. The track method. In order to save my time, I want to copy this run method, but I want to change that a track is mainly used for transporting goods, right? So then in my vehicle main, can I create a track object? How can I create track object? Can anyone please help me? I have 2 minutes just now, but I may need a few extra minutes. Okay, give me 5 more extra minutes, please. Okay, how can I create a track object? Track T1 equal to new track constructor, right? Let us make 2 objects, track objects. Okay, like T2 equal to new track. Okay, and let us set color. Okay, let us set T1 dot color. Just in order to set the T1 dot color, T1, and then a track usually have 2 doors. Let me set 2 doors, and then T1 dot set color, I can say gray. Okay, and for T2, we can say 2 doors, and T2 we can say color maybe black. Okay, so now if I want to, okay, I want to show the T1 dot do T1, and then T1 here, T over here, and then T1 dot do T2 and T and T. Okay, so another thing that I have already also my run what is that another class in the new method I defined, run method, right? Run method, I have my run method, different implementation, different code, different message in my car class and in my track class. So in my car class, it shows a car is mainly used privately, and then track method, it shows a truck is mainly used for transporting goods. So let us call this, let us show this output, and then let us say that C1 dot run. This is the run method. C1 dot run, and you see that if I call C2 dot run, and if I call T1 dot run and T2 dot run, okay, then can anyone please tell me what will be the difference between this output here? Let us run this program and see all outputs together. Okay, so then I see that I already know that this object, so that v1 dot door equal to c1 dot door equal to 4, c2 dot door equal to 2, and you see that a car is mainly used privately because of this statement. I use this one, this statement. For this statement, c1 dot run, it showed me a car is mainly used purposely, privately, and then for c2 it showed these, and then for t1 it showed a truck is used mainly this one. So this is the concept of inheritance. In our next class we will expand this inheritance concept. Okay, thank you so much. Yes, I'm putting that. Thanks so much. You did not come here last time. I was looking for you.
Professor, you wanted to see me? You sent me an email.
What is that?
You sent me an email wanting